And when people are starving, they're going to probably forget that they're eating genetically modified food, even though obviously avoid it if you can, but you're not going to be able to feed 8 billion people on organic crops.
Bitcoin heavily fluctuated after rumors claiming Amazon would accept cryptocurrency. There were also rumors that Amazon was in the process of making its own cryptocurrency. Amazon dismissed both of these rumors, but would you have been in a position to profit from their decision if it were true? I was able to profit myself because I learned to trade through Trade Genius Academy on the crypto side. I took part in various courses, personal coaching, chat rooms, Signals trading tool. That's where I look for price signals in cryptocurrency from Bob Kudla, TradeGeniusAcademy.com, who also offers other signature trading tools for stocks, exchange-traded funds, binary options, and commodities. All you need is an internet connection to get started. Interact with Trade Genius community, fellow traders, and certified Trade Genius trades, alongside professionals who generate revenue for themselves in the stock market every single day. Live buy and sell alerts text to your phone, built for both new and experienced traders. Check out the Trade Genius Academy by going to TradeGeniusAcademy.com or click on the link in the description box to save 40% off all non-bundled items. Use the promo code SUMMER. And now on with the video. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I have with me Bob Kudla, TradeGeniusAcademy.com. We want to talk about the cascading effects of Southern Hemisphere producers such as Brazil, South Africa, Australia, that are now ceasing their exports or reducing their exports. Now, what type of onward effect would this have, as China is still in the massive flood stage, even worse than last year? And they're going to be on the world market looking for an enormous amount of soy, corn, and wheat. Now, the American wheat crop is down 70. That's right, 70, not 17, 70%. So when China's out looking for the swing producer that would usually provide them with the extra, Argentina's offline, Brazil's offline, not going to be able to export United States. So we get into this cascade. And these are the major producers. But when we swing down to South Africa, for an example, they're major exporters to other countries like Botswana, Namibia, and Mauritius. So you need to then ask Inter-Africa, where does it go from here? Because I personally feel this is the year that it rolls over. This is the year that the world understands the grand solar minimum, the food reduction. And here's the thing, if it stays at this level, we're going to be at the break even or maybe a little less for this year. We still have carryover stocks globally, but those will be eaten into. And then ask yourself the question, how many years can we eat into the carryover stocks before what we grow is what we get on the globe? And that's what we wanted to talk about today. So Bob, I'm really happy you're joining me because I wanted to get some of your expertise. So how do you feel things are intertwining around the planet in terms of shortages?
You're not going to be able to feed 8 billion people on organic crops.
No, you certainly aren't, especially if you take a look at the new updated predicted versus actual on the sunspot count on where we're going with this solar cycle. It's going to peak a little bit faster here, and it's going to be back down again. So if you had followed any of these forecasts about, oh, don't listen to these guys about the food and everything, because this solar cycle is going to be perfect, but even stronger than the last one. So these guys like Bob and Dave talking about the sun affecting the jet streams and cloud cells and shrinking your grow seasons. Well, I think they overlooked the predicted versus actual, because it looks like we're going to be up and down already in 2024 and declining. So they were expecting original, increase, the peak of it to be in like 2025, 26 to have a real strong solar cycle. But it looks like we're going to be up and down, and what we're talking about now is going to continue to increase because the more cosmic rays are coming in with this weaker solar cycle, more volcanic eruptions, and you see these wildfires and things, they're going to be blocking sun from the sky. And I think we're just in this feedback loop now of real geologic changes based on the sun's activity and what we're seeing with the economy and the economics on the planet here. So how do we use the tech to our best ability to get us through? And I'll agree, any kind of hybridized seed that can get it, not really GMO, but hybridized seeds, a little bit different. And I just really, the future is kind of an unknown now. We are going to have to take more of our own responsibility moving forward. So these kind of companies that allow you to get machinery parts or what it would be constituents or anything that you can put together from companies that can help us be more localized and get you more self-sufficient, in addition to offering products that can help you get more self-sufficient or a region get more self-sufficient. That's kind of the direction it needs to go, because looking at the solar cycle here, way amiss on the quote unquote experts, but they wouldn't take my solar forecast. Bob, personal story. I tried to submit my forecast for what would be back in 2018. They would not take me because I was not with an institution. How dare you, as an independent researcher, try to even compete with the experts to put in a forecast? Because I was just going to work with John Casey's numbers and say 75 or below with the average. And here we are, we're going to be right at around that average 75 or below. Walk me through the speed and the transition of everything you're talking about. You have a pretty good timeline. So from now, between food extreme price rises and then governments taking action and shipping delays, et cetera, what's your timeline moving forward with this?
Well, we already got double digit this year. I'd expect another double digit next year. Now, where I live, you have, I would call it average pork prices. You can just, blend the shoulders with the loins, whatever. You can usually get things between $1.99 and $3.99. Okay, those prices have moved up $1, so they've already moved up about 30% on average. You catch the occasional deal. Beef prices have doubled. I don't think people have realized that it literally have doubled, and I don't see those coming down anytime soon. But the one I'm watching now that has me a little bit more concerned is chicken prices. So usually out here in California during the height of the growth of the chickens, you can get a lot of deals for 99 cents, value packs and stuff like that. Now we're at $1.99, and if they do any kind of processing to it at all, you could be up to $3.99 or $4.99 a pound for chicken. That gets expensive for people. So you're starting to see basically the whole meat curve going out. And what we're watching now is coming into our spring. You're going to get basically the South American fall, and I'm starting to watch the prices of the stuff that comes out of New Zealand and out of Chile. We get a lot of our produce that are off season from those areas, and those prices last year have gone up. I see double digit again in food, and that's just food. The other essentials, are probably going to go up because of the shortages now. Companies have figured out they can drop production and make more profit. And that's exactly what they're doing. Shipping companies, boats didn't go away. It's just that they took boats offline. Shipping rates are 25% again, and they're going to go up another 25% next year. No new boats are coming online for 2 more years. So the whole thing is cycling through. And now we're starting to see surcharges for fuel. Remember, we haven't had those in a long time.
Again, remember that ridiculousness of how the airlines would rake you over the coals for $1 extra buck? I can't wait until they start charging for air on the plane, We're right back to those same days again.
Yeah, it's going to be the trucks, though, are interesting. What you got to watch for is that, believe it or not, Amazon's going to be a canary in the coal mine, because they have built their model on free delivery. And so they have shortages now of products, so they're not selling as much stuff. All the stimulus checks are out, so people aren't just buying stuff willy-nilly. These rent moratoriums will end. I think, this latest one they're trying to pull is going to probably go to the courts and get bounced. And so people are going to lose their ability to spend basically non-essentially. And so Amazon stock's going to go down, and at the same time, food prices are going to go up. So I see consumer retrenchment at double-digit down. At the same time, we're seeing cost of living is going to be double-digit up. And so it's going to be 2022 is going to not be a fun year.
I have a chicken story for you. Believe it or not, since you mentioned chicken, I have a personal chicken story. So I'm in the farm co-op the other day because 7 months ago, I ordered winter peas and I ordered iron peas to do a ground cover crop because we were stripping some of the pine trees off the back field. And I didn't want it to sit there all bare soil through the winter. I wanted to get something on it so it wouldn't erode. 7 months ago, I ordered. And then you know what? The peas came in just last week. So I went to go pick them up. And as I'm sitting there, the guys were talking about chicken scratch, how expensive it was getting. And these are the guys who buy chicken feed by the ton for their operation. So I talked to them for a quick second. And I heard them talking, going, yeah, I can't believe how much price of chicken scratch has gone up. I was asking, well, how much is it? They're about 20, 25%. But that's on the tonnage. You and me buying a 50-pound bag, I mean, it's up more than that, 40%. But the guys who are buying it by the tons, multi-tons, will get like half a truck by themselves. But my supply chain shortage on the seed side, 7 months to wait for my winter peas to come back. And then hearing the chicken scratch story from the guy. Now, these are producers of chicken in the local area here because, Southeast U.S. produces a lot of chicken, especially Georgia. That is a major, major chicken producer. Another personal story. We went out to see the Georgia Guidestones one time. We drove out. You're going down toward the Atlanta airport, and then you head east down many a highway, about 2.5 hours, way, way out in the countryside. But that whole entire 2-hour journey going out 2.5 hours to go to the Georgia Guidestones way out there, it's all chicken farms. As far as you go, the whole 2.5 hours or whatever was chicken farm, chicken farm, chicken farm, chicken farm, chicken farm, as far as the eye could see on both sides of the road. And they're complaining about chicken scratch prices going up. There's a huge problem with that. The feed prices is going up, and then when you're going to get to the meat side of it, you talked about a couple bucks, $4 a pound. What if it goes to $6-7 a pound? That's crazy. The easiest to raise, fastest to grow animal to put on the market, a chicken, and they're complaining about prices rising that fast. And these are major farmers. That's crazy. We're in uncharted territory, I do believe.
And it's really interesting is that we've been so used to on-demand everything that I think people are going to wake up to the fact that they're going to have to start planning a little bit more of their life. I remember my wife still does it. And I remember growing up that my family would never let the gas tank get below half.
Never.
Because my father had to go to work and we couldn't, in case there was a shortage. You know what I mean? Or my dad didn't get enough hours and, nobody went anywhere. So the car could always remain so my dad could get to work. We always canned. We always froze food growing up. I remember my grandmother, we're German, she would be machen Sie die Lichter zu, basically make the lights out, turn off all the lights. If she put the air conditioner on in the house, she had black over curtains over all the windows. The house looked like a mausoleum because she didn't want 1 inch of the cold to get out of the house. And I think we lost that kind of thriftiness. And I think those are the things that I think will be imposed back upon all of us on a go forward basis. Hey, you need to plan. I always overbuy a little bit at the store to put up. Doubled my garden this year in my yard. In fact, right now, I live in Southern California. So I went ahead and I just harvested my potatoes in July. And I put in a sweet corn crop that I'll be able to harvest at the end of September. And I put pumpkins in that I'll be able to harvest the 1st of November. You can't do that anywhere else. You can put those in the ground till August 15th here, Dave. And we just went ahead and I don't know how many bushels of peaches we pulled off. I don't freeze those so much because they're too watery or can them, but we turn them into jam and jelly. And now my apple trees are coming off. And, it doesn't take much to do these here. And in my neighborhood, we're swapping, I got, one neighbor that says boatloads of tomatoes. We have boatloads of fruit. You just switch. And people need to start doing that. And maybe we should talk about a show, even though we don't really trade geniuses too much. But absolutely, you can take a closet in your garage. The pot growers have taught us how to grow inside the home. And you can grow all your salad stuff inside an area as big as a refrigerator.
Absolutely. Those lettuces are super easy to grow and they're continuous too. You just trim them and they keep growing back. But I will say one thing about, keeping the car full, because a lot of people are always like, well, I want to have some fuel storage. If you fill your car up continuously, you're rolling with 30 gallons as a fuel source. You'd need 6 5-gallon containers in your garage, 6 of those 5-gallon gas cans to fill up what's in your car. So when people say, hey, I want to keep some petrol on the side, just think of your car as a large storage tank that you can roll with anywhere you want to go. So keep it topped up. I do. I rarely let mine get below 3/4 if I can help it.
Yeah, I don't go anywhere. I work out of our house. That's the other thing too. I'll give you a trade I did today. I closed it today. They started talking about lockdowns. I bought Zoom. I made $4,300 on the trade. Another one of my subscribers made $5,000. Just because that's one thing that we do at Trade Genius is that we're watching this stuff all the time, and we saw money start to flow into Zoom. And so those are the kind of things that we can help people uncover and move forward with. Just give people one ahead of time. We can talk about it next month to see if I was right or not. We're about ready. Alibaba is starting to climb back from this China, because Alibaba is basically the Amazon.com for business people. My brother-in-law buys everything on Alibaba to run his business. Stuff he can't get in the US, he buys in China. Alibaba is kind of like the eBay for business. And that's going to start moving here soon too. And the other one that you want to make sure you have is UU, because not only are they American producer of uranium, but they're an American producer of rare earth metals. Over time, this company is going to do extremely well. It's already doubled out of its base. And I think people are going to find out really quickly here with the way the weather works is that they're not going to be able to rely on solar and wind. And you're going to see a big push back into nuclear power. Uranium is already at a deficit, and there's no futures market in it. So you really can't manipulate it like you can gold and silver, and prices are going to go up there too. So you're going to want to get your hands on those things. And when things get really cold, the electricity is on demand. You won't have a Texas freeze. And like I said, it's as clean as energy as you're going to get. And if you're like the French, they know how to reprocess spent fuel so they can just keep using it again and again and again. So those are the areas which, if you're trading, what I'm trading, is that's what you want to own. And then also, actually even owning grocery stores in this environment are a good bet. And look at Kroger, okay? Look at Safeway. They're just constantly grinding higher. And if you're worried about double-digit food growth, well, buy a grocery store, because they're going to outproduce the inflation of your groceries, and they pay a dividend. These are areas in which you need to think about and to focus on, in terms of staying ahead of this inflation genie from a food standpoint. Obviously, if it's from a land standpoint, there is a company out there. It's called Farmland Partners, FPI. This is a company that owns farmland. And so if you can't buy your own farm, you want to own something that's probably going to get very dear in price over time. There's a reason why billionaires are buying farmland, because they know exactly what's happening. That's another area in which you can take advantage of. And then if you look at seed, I talked about this before in your show. Seed is now sitting up for another probably double here. It bottomed out just a month ago at $7. It's now up to $12.15, and the high it did just the 6 months ago was at $26. This is a hybridizer of seed, and I think especially in the oil seeds area, it's something you definitely need to own. The company called Yield 10 Bioscience do genetically modified food, and when people are starving, they're going to probably forget that they're eating genetically modified food, even though obviously avoid it if you can. But you're not going to be able to feed 8 billion people on organic crops. To conclude here too, if I can make a pitch for Trade Genius, come check us out. We do great for people that join our service. We have a special running right now till Saturday. TradeLikeAGenius.com. We bundle stocks, we bundle crypto, and cryptos are making this move. I just did an 8% trade on Chainlink, and Dave gets our signals on crypto, so he knows how good they are. And yeah, you'll like trading this. If you don't want anything that's bundled, unbundled, you can get 40% off. Use promo code SUMMER. So we're watching. We have an algo that just tells us when money's moving into things. There's always an opportunity out there, regardless of what happens in the market.
Always. And I'll leave that link in the description box below. You can reach out and You can find some outlier events like Haryana in India where the earth uplifted. Now, see, if that would have been under a railroad track or under a highway, you would have seen an instant splitting of infrastructure. So as you're looking forward out into the landscape of news, don't be just focused on, the next passport thing or the next this to go into a restaurant. Broaden your horizon and scope of looking at what the extremes in the weather are doing from around the planet. And it'll give you a good gauge and indication on which countries are losing crops, which countries are seeing anomalies, and how much they import. And then you can start to do the Rubik's Cube like Bob does every month.
Yeah, and you'll make money.
That's an important thing because, kidding aside, we all need money. And the more things are going to cost and the more inavailability is, the persons who have money will be the ones who can get that. And I was thinking outside the box. Like, we went up to this place called Home Goods the other day, and they had these giant mason jars. They're like 1.5 gallon mason jars, but they were $4.50, and one was $5.99. It was a 2 gallon jar, mason jar, snap tight, snug lid. Most people are going to go, I'm not going to spend $6 on a jar. I'm not going to spend $5 on a jar, but I see the value in that. So I had the money to be able to go, all right, I will spend $6 on a jar. Now you might laugh and go, oh, he's talking about $6, but walking into a store, you would be surprised how many people would walk by that such crazy necessity item that when you try to buy canning jars right now, the only thing you're left with are those little tiny ones that you can do jams with. It's very difficult to find anything of any size for food storage or canning itself. So, finding a gem like this, thinking outside the box on ways to store food, and then companies that are providing these different implements so you can store food and preserve food and keep food fresh for a longer time. One of our refrigerators broke 3 months and we're still waiting for the replacement, even though it was already ordered and paid for. Things are breaking down. So being able to make money during this tumultuous time is going to be a plus.
Yeah, just so you know, if you buy a 32-ounce ball canning jar right now, it costs you $16. So you already made money on your trade.
Nice. Yeah, these are mason jars, straight up craft storage jars that have that, see-through rubber gasket there, and then they snap down and you can open them back and forth. So they're not screw offs, they're that snap down lid type.
Yeah, so pretty expensive.
Again, thanks for listening to what we have to say.
Thank you.